night already. It is Tuesday night, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know
Whatever. What does it matter?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know. No, it is Tuesday. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's night, and you are here. You're here watching the Pandemic Proof Singer series tonight. I'm Danielle Tucker. I'm a singer. I'm a vocal coach. I'm also one of the lead singers for the Mighty Untouchables band. Yes. I'm also the creator of a new digital course for singers. It's a fun course called I'm with the Band, Do's and Don'ts from a Lead Singer. Really fun stuff when you're trying to work on the professional aspects. And you can check that out at don'tbethatsinger.com.
That's
So
awesome.
if you're kind of wondering how to advance your career in such a time as this, you're in the right place, because my guest and I are here tonight to talk about some really encouraging things, and tell you what's up in our careers, what's going on, and talk about some ways that we are moving forward in this crazy, crazy time. So without further ado, let me introduce my wonderful, beautiful guest tonight. This is Lorraine Theresa from San Diego. She is a singer, guitarist. She is heavily in blues, jazz, R&B, Latin influenced music. You are an alumni from San Diego State University. You are really quite popular here in San Diego, and you are, yes, you definitely are. Everybody knows you, Lorraine. Um, but you really bring something special to the community, and I am so excited to have you here to talk with you. I know you've had a lot going on, lots of different things, musical and non-musical, but the first thing I want to talk to you about is an album that you've been involved with, and so I wonder if we could just start there, if you can tell me about that project.
Yes, it is the Charles McPherson Jazz Dance Suites, and it is available soon. So you can go on Facebook. You can go. I'll do like a little post too. But it was quite an experiment, experience, and it was. So Mr. McPherson, he's quite the legend. I mean, we're lucky to have him here in San Diego, and I was very honored. I am very honored to be part of this project. He wrote original music for the San Diego Ballet, and inspired by Camille, who is his daughter, who is a dancer, and so he. We were actually supposed to do another one, but a lot of these tunes were choreographed by the dancers. I'm choreographed, but performed by the dancers to his original music, with us live on stage playing it. So it was pretty interesting. And I played guitar on live, and but on the record, I was just featured. Singing. Charles McPherson, Terrell Stafford's on trumpet, Jeb Patton and Randy Porter played piano, Billy Drummond on drums, and David Wong was on bass, and Yotam Silversing, excellent guitarist too. So that was actually recorded at the very famous Rudy Van Gelder studio in New York, which is where like all like the Blue Note, the Blue Note sound came from. Rudy Van Gelder had like a special way of recording, and it was funny because like there's like these famous steps where John Coltrane's butt touched, and I touched the steps, and so I was very excited because he touched my butt, in essence. But yeah, anyway, it's a great project. I'm only on a few songs, or a couple songs, and I suggest you buy it. Yeah.
Excellent.
And follow.
When are you expecting that to come out?
Anytime now. September, it's right around the corner. So yeah. I should have a date, but you can find it and I'll post it later.
Yeah.
And,
okay,
but yeah, it's a really, really cool CD, and there's the studio and all of us, and how much he loves me. Autograph.
Beautiful.
Anyway.
How exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
you got a lot of cool projects going on too. You were just telling me before we got on that you brought back a song that you had written a while ago, and you're kind of pulling that together now too.
Right, right. I actually, my original plan was to record in the studio, and I had messed around with certain concepts, and I wrote some original music and thinking of like some jazz standards to cover and not so jazz standards to cover. And of course, a lot of events kind of happened, and so the record never happened, and so that got put on the shelf, and a lot of personal things kind of happened, and I just said whatever, okay. Now the pandemic happened, and I realized that I need to get this out, and I talked to a mutual friend of ours, amazing musician and an amazing person, Bobby Cressy, and Fernando Gomez as well. We used to play together at Cloak and Pedal, and I had a little quartet or a sextet, and they would be part of that, among other great musicians. And so they agreed to record this thing with me. So I'm really struggling with the whole logic and dialing in sound and interfaces, and anyway, it's really frustrating, but they're really helping me. So we'll see. Look out for that. Yeah, look out for that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, like so many of us that I've talked to here, before COVID hit, we were all, active, working singers out there doing our thing, lots of projects. And I know everybody that I've talked to said 2020 was going to be their year. They had all of these things going on. What did you have going on right before this hit? And then, what was your response? And then how have you settled into the routine of all of this?
So wow, that's a lot of layers. Okay, so before I was gigging, doing that thing, and I was practicing with I was kind of going through the motions, right? Because you practice for a gig. I got to practice for this gig, and so and then you have to go to work, and then you have to it's all great, it's all fun, and I kind of miss it, of course, but I kind of lost, like I said earlier, like my fervor for like the music and creativity and like the passion for it. And then the pandemic happened, and I stopped playing for a while, and I said, okay, I got to get realistic here. I foresee the future, not immediately getting back to work. I mean, it was hard enough as it was to be a musician, self-employed. And so I said, okay, I got to find a job, a real job. Because I like to teach. I have private students, but I need some health insurance. This girl's getting older. But I decided to go to Hollywood and try to get something like to do with music in that realm, whether it be like content marketing or I don't know. I was just, trying to do that thing, and it became a not so nice experience. And then I moved back here and did a little bit of soul searching. I picked up my guitar and I started playing for me, like for once. And so that was really nice. And I'm starting to get back into my groove of like get my mojo back. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm still teaching my private students, whom I love. I'm very proud of them, all of them. And now I'm still on the job hunt, but I'm going into construction, which some of you who know me, I do. I've done like part-time admin stuff. I'm not no jackhammers or anything, but so I'm looking to get into like the more like play with the big boys, do like a project engineering or, that kind of side, the project management side of things. So yeah, so that's that. So, and I'm like still like finding the time to like play and like make time for that and be creative and write. And,
Mm-hmm.
we have to keep that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's been a great time to put a different perspective on, the craft of singing and playing. And, we obviously, if life had kept going at the pace it had, who knows, how you would have continued to feel about that. And I love talking about, the other things that you're exploring career wise. And I think that's really something we need to bring to light, because I talk to so many singers and musicians out there who are talking about like, oh, I think I might need to change careers because I don't know what the future holds for me here. And yeah, maybe you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of like depression or disappointment comes with that. But hey,
Yep.
this is a wild time. You've got to keep money coming in the door. You've got to keep your families fed. You got to pay your bills.
Yeah.
Why not just explore the other possibilities in your life? Because even if you are working in a field that's seemingly unrelated to music, there are so many things you can draw on to bring into your music life, and it can just support your music life.
Exactly. Yeah. Because yeah, you kind of get depressed. Like all of us are like this and like in it together, this communal depression. But I think we have to kind of remind ourselves, that it's not so black and white. Like, oh, I can't do music anymore. I got to do my career. It's no, you just got to make time for it.
Yeah.
You have to make time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it makes us look at the whole music aspect of it differently. We're looking at it in a new light of appreciation, or we're really considering, do I want to continue working in this vein of music, as opposed to like, if I'm unlimited at this point, maybe I want to go down a different road with this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I'm curious, you're a classical guitarist.
Yeah.
How did that come to be in your life? And did that come before or after singing?
Um, that came after. So I learned. I grew up singing. My mom's Filipino, and I grew up in a Filipino household. So, if you know anything about Filipinos and the parties, there's always karaoke. So like, but it was karaoke every morning. Like you would wake up, have pandesal, and and then your alarm clock was the karaoke machine. I don't know. It was just that was my life. So and then you would wake up and just pass the microphone around. So that was always a thing. And then it wasn't until later, like I was 15, and my uncle from the Philippines came out, and my mom had played guitar when she was in high school, and we just had a guitar in the closet, and so he picked it out and he just started playing, Beatles and some folk songs, and he would just show me where to put my fingers. And then I had these like magazines with like the lyrics and the chords, and then the books were like put your finger the dot here, and so I didn't know what I was playing, but I was just playing Total Eclipse of the Heart or something. Or whatever. And I loved it so much that in college I decided to, I don't know, many years of college, self-discovery, business, music business. And then it became a thing that I wanted to study. Like I met Fred Benedetti, and he's like my hero. And I am who I am today because of him in large part. He inspired me. And just I took it seriously. And here I am, I guess. I love it. It's like, it's a different, there's like a meditative thing about it, that that I find satisfies me differently from singing, you know. And it actually informs, like, I tell all my students to at least have some general knowledge with an instrument, whether it be piano or harmonic instrument, because it just informs you, and I don't know, makes you
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, it does make you better. Yeah, and literally, every single person that I have talked to in these interviews has said the same thing. I
Mhm.
think it's an important thing to know. Um, so but you play all kinds of genres now. So you didn't necessarily just settle into one vein of things. Like what influenced you to go into jazz and other stuff?
Yeah. I mean, when you start studying music, like those are the two tracks, right? It's like you most guitarists, we start off learning, you know, rock. We don't read music. And then if you want to study it, then you start learning repertoire, and it's either usually jazz or classical. And I studied a little bit of jazz. I wanted to get into jazz when I transferred from Grossmont to SDSU, and because I was really into Billie Holiday, and I wanted to study actually jazz vocals, and there was always like this like dangling carrot, like we might get a jazz vocal program, we might, so stick around and maybe just study jazz guitar. And it my brain, it was just a different part of my brain, and I didn't do too well with it, but I did learn a bunch. Bob Boss, who I played with all the time, was my teacher. And so I don't know, just through the years, I just started to like listen to jazz. And then of course, I was married to someone that was big time jazz, amazing trumpet player, Gilbert Castellanos. And I've learned a lot from him, and also like Latin music and all the different flavors of jazz. But I've always like had a foot in like steeped into like rock, and I mean even hip hop too. So I can't. I'm actually at this time like going back, and I'm like, I was like listening to like Mariah Carey the other day. I was like
Yeah.
on my run, like in Vogue, and like just learning, just getting back to like nostalgic kind of stuff. But I don't know. I can't like get sucked into like one thing, and I like hearing new things Arnold to kind of inspire me, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always so interested to hear what are those influences in different musicians' backgrounds. I'm a lot like you, where like I like everything. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a style of music that I couldn't apply in my life at some point. It's very mood oriented for me, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever it is that suits my mood. But right now, I think a lot about. I have two little girls, and they kind of like whatever you put in front of them. But as they get older, they're kind of adapting more and more, or they're kind of settling into more and more that they like. And I always think, I should be playing more jazz around the house, or I should be playing them like country classics, or
Uh-huh.
getting them immersed in all of those things. But there's just so many things that I love, that it's like I think we need to have theme week or something.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good to have variety. It's good to be well-rounded, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I read something that I know this was an article that was about you quite a while ago, but you were mentioning playing and singing at the same time, that you felt like you were that it wasn't a completely comfortable thing for you, and that you kind of felt like you were juggling a little bit when you're
Yeah.
doing the two of that. How is that for you now?
Um, I still feel that way because I mean, I know what sounds good. Like I know what I want to hear, and I can't execute that. Like I can't like do like gnarly solos or anything, and and again, it is like, it's like, wait, this, okay. When you're trying to sing and play, I think the attention goes, something has to take, like, order of operations, right? Like, but the voice comes out. I think, I don't know, it kind of detracts from what I want to do. Have like when I want freedom in improvising or interpreting any song. So I don't know. I prefer to have somebody else accompany me, but again, I'm alone. I mean, it's nice to like play in the backyard or some, with Bob or someone, but yeah, I still feel the same way. That's a long answer, but yeah.
So when you go out in times of gigging, we're in a time of non-gigging right now.
Yeah.
When you go out, say if you're going out to play as a duo or a trio, are you playing as well, or are you generally just singing, or one or the other?
I generally sing. I'm generally singing. Yeah, I kind of separate the two. Like I'm either a classical guitar player or a singer. I mean, I am both, but I just kind of prefer to do them separately. I don't know. But however, my couple of my best friends are Claudia Gomez and Ivana Wasinski. We had a group project together that we did years ago called Besos de Coco. Go buy that album too, Besos de Coco.
Yes.
And I just been getting together with them, and just like Claudia does an event in the park, and everyone's social distanced and wearing masks, and it was kind of refreshing. We did a little like a gig. It was like a loose kind of jam together, and yeah, we playing, singing at the same time. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely did. I was asking you about playing and singing at the same time.
Yeah.
I have, there's so many people that I have talked to, going back to the whole like singers, should be proficient, I guess, at least, in an instrument. I don't accompany myself. And I'm always very impressed when I see those singers who, because you can tell that when they're just at a mic, they have a certain, vocal styling, or you hear these nuances in their vocals. But then when they sit behind the piano or they strap the guitar on, it changes, the feel changes a lot. And I'm always like very, very impressed with those singers where you can't really detect a lot of the change. I mean, I'm impressed with them no matter what, but but it's been interesting through the past couple of years. A couple of friends who wanted to improve their ability to accompany themselves, the way they pushed themselves to do that was booking gigs where they had to play or accompany themselves, solo gigs, and
yes,
jumped right into the fire.
Yeah, it's great. I feel like everybody should do that. Again, it's always more fun with a band, but yeah, highly recommended. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about the jazz scene in here in San Diego. There's a great jazz community here in San Diego, and you've been a big part of that. And I'm curious to know your thoughts on singers who are just kind of coming into the business. Such an awkward time, for anybody who's really trying to get out there and make a living at this. It's going to be, awfully challenging. But ordinarily, how would you encourage a singer, musician to kind of step into the scene? What are the avenues of like just working on their craft, and then also networking? How would you advise them?
Oh, yeah, that's tough. Because you learn so much, like most of the experience and the learning experience comes from going to the jam session and listening. Well, that's the most important one. Most important thing is listening. And then actually, sitting in and networking and So now it's hard. We don't really have that. So there, I think it's great. A lot of, people are live streaming, like Louis doing his thing, which is great. I think just kind of being yeah, utilizing that, the technology that we have, like for those live streaming situations, the concerts, and just interacting still with the community online, and transcribing. I mean, you could just throw on a Sarah record, and and transcribe, and learn the things, the approach and phrasing, the way tone, how vibrato is used, and not saying like to copy that, but to try to kind of like get those colors in on your palette, and then being able to like learn what they are, how to use them, and then going off and painting your own painting, so I don't know. It's hard. That's kind of a hard question to answer, because especially if you're trying to get into it, oh man,
Yeah, it is.
just it is weird.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it is just one of a season where um, people just need to focus more on working on the craft rather than
Yes.
trying to jump into the hustle so much, because there is, oh my gosh, you spend your whole career hustling and networking and kind of getting into that. I hate to call it a grind, but it can get
Right.
that way for sure. But taking this a rare opportune time just to like immerse yourself in listening and exploring different genres of music and watching
Yeah.
people's live streams.
Learning an instrument, learning, and not only that, but singing with the instrument, and like being able to sing, getting your intonation like right in the smack dab middle of the ninth, on a minor nine chord, or, and I mean, it takes work. You just sit down, and it's work, now we have time to do it. Or you watch Netflix or whatever. You make those decisions, so yeah, I think that is a good point. Like we can work on our craft, and we all should be. And I'm actually finding, and to stay inspired is key, right? I was hanging out with actually a wonderful singer, Shelby Bennett. She's in a band called the Have Nots, and she was in Midnight Pine, and just a wonderful singer. And she's just hanging out with her, and networking, like what we're doing too. It kind of like we're still in the loop, and it feeds your soul a little bit, and pushes you. So surrounding yourself with people like that, I think, is key.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good opportunity too, where I mean, with the life that or the pace of life I was living before all of this, especially having kids.
My God, I don't know how you did. I don't know how you
I
did.
have the opportunity to go out, and go see other bands often, as much as I would like to. That's just something my husband and I love to do, but not much time. But right now, you have this golden opportunity to watch all these musicians who are just live streaming at any given moment. You can go online and you can see these really, really great players.
Yeah. The other day there was like 3 or 4 going on at the same time, and I was like, this is like a festival. Like I had to like go and peek in this room, and then I had to go in this other room. It was great. Like Joshua White, Louis, or no, it was Juice Box actually, and and then Nathan Hubbard. People are still. I feel like it's like a nice kick in the booty.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep it clean.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that people are still working and creating, and you're like, God, I gotta get my stuff together. Yeah, I gotta, it helps, and it's not like it's like a competition thing. It's just like we're like kind of like come on, guys, let's keep
Yes,
it going. It's great. I love it. I love our community so much. I think San Diego is very special, and I hear that a lot about, and not just like the jazz community, just the musicians, period. Like,
yeah, a lot of good people, a lot of really good people.
so good.
I've loved, that's why I think I love doing this so much is, you know, again, going back to that pace of life, man, you get so busy that you barely have time to even reach out to anybody on social media and say hi and support what they're doing. So this has been such a fun opportunity to like reach out to the singers that um, you know that I have been able to work with in the past, or that I just haven't had an opportunity to catch up with much. So it's fun. I think
You're doing amazing. I can't believe, like, you're doing a lot. This is great.
oh,
You're like, and you're doing this, well, I want to say podcast, but this live streaming, and connecting and inspiring me and other singers. So thank you.
well, my pleasure. I mean, it's definitely keep giving me, a fun creative outlet, and I really love to hear, what other people are doing, whether that's being innovative with music or just, for real. What are you doing in your life? Are you taking a break from things? Are you kind of taking this time to just reflect on your life or pay attention to other things? There is no right way of doing pandemic response, I don't think.
No, it's a roller coaster. And some days that's exactly all of the above. Like some days you don't want to do anything. You don't want to do anything. And then you feel like you're just in a dark hole, and then the next day, and then there's always the next day.
Yeah.
So we just have to kind of keep be optimistic.
Yeah. And it's important to know that I think we're all feeling that way. There are
Yes.
days when we've got the energy to like pour into something. And I have plenty of days where, I don't want to get dressed. I want to like sit on the couch with the kids and,
Yeah.
do nothing. And I don't think there's, anything wrong with that at all. But it is sometimes comforting to know, not that I want anybody to feel sad, but we are all in this space where,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of disappointment this year, and a lot of change of pace in life. And just know that, everybody's feeling this way. There's going to be good days. There's going to be
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know about you, but have you been connecting a little bit more with your friends and, I don't know, your family, well, of course, but I feel like, I'm more appreciative of their time, and I'm like a little bit more. I want to tell my friends how much I appreciate them, how much I love them, my family, how much I love them, more so than I did before the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have always been a very introverted person. I think the only time that I really exude an outgoing thing is on stage. But anytime off stage, I'm kind of pretty much to myself. And so, being quarantined at home is really not such a negative for me. I kind of enjoy it.
Oh, it's
But
good.
it
Yeah.
does make me look at my relationships so differently. I'm way, way more motivated to stay connected to everybody, because it makes me fear that the relationships are going to die on the vine, if you're not nurturing them. And then just before you and I got on, I was on a Zoom call with the entire band. And
Oh,
yeah, as their faces, pop up one by one onto the Zoom call, I'm just like, it just hits me right in the heart. And it kind of
yeah.
reminds me, how much I just enjoyed seeing them all the time, and how much I'm
Yeah.
missing that. And, you know, and I think on the home front, being a mom and spending so much time with your kids, um, if I'm being totally real, I mean, it's tough, to be with your kids 24/7, especially when that wasn't the normal pace of life. But what I'm finding though is that, we're getting this opportunity to be completely real as a family. My kids get to see exactly, who I am, and we're learning to cope with our good stuff and our bad stuff.
Oh,
And
that's me every day in the mirror. I'm like, I'm just by myself.
yeah,
I'm seeing all the sides of me now.
yes.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No, but I agree with you. I think it is
Yeah.
one of those times where it's important for us to stay connected.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's key. And inspired. Connected, inspired.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
You told me that you were starting to kind of level up your logic game and getting involved in, oh, it's
Yeah. I took a class, like one of those LinkedIn classes, and I feel like I forgot everything. Like when you're actually like trying to play with everything. The other day I was trying to record just like a little demo to give to Fernando, and I was like on the verge of tears because like nothing was going right. Like there's buzzing, and just like I forgot all the stuff that I learned on this class, which was like a 20-hour thing experience. I'm like, I should know how to use this better, but I don't know if it's just me or what's going on, but it's I was really frustrated, and then I started like second guessing my tune. I was like, God, this sounds horrible. Maybe I should like rearrange it. Like it needs a better bridge or like something like that. And I was like, I gotta stop. And I did. And then um, I texted Fernando and Bobby, and and so they made me feel better. But it's frustrating because that's our reality now. Like how we're trying to get music out. That technology thing barrier. It's tough. It's really really tough. It's very complicated, and I don't know. I don't. We all have to like kind of figure out how to navigate through that.
yeah, it is. I really think that the handling the software on this stuff, it is really use it or lose it type knowledge.
Uh huh.
So if you're not in it every day and you're not, you know, turning knobs and going in and out of the different screens, it's hard to remember any of it. I recorded
Yeah.
something this morning. I could not get sound to my headphones.
Ah,
I turned every knob that I knew to turn and flick every switch and hit
yeah.
everything. Eventually I figured it out, but it's
Good.
just sometimes something that should seemingly be so easy and basic just turns into like an
Wow.
hour long struggle fest. But
I definitely feel like my age, like when I'm like, how do
yeah,
you do this? And like even with my iPhone, you know? Oh boy. Yeah.
yeah. So are you fully equipped at home to record?
I'm not fully equipped. I mean, I have this guy and I'm like
Mm.
trying to learn how to, the interface. I have Logic Pro
Mhm.
and Final Cut Pro, and I got all those things, but I'm still using like, I don't have a proper mic. I just have like my performing mic, and I'm just making use of what I have. And eventually maybe I'll invest, like when I get a job, a real job, remember?
Yes.
Maybe I'll invest in some other stuff, but I mean, for now you just gotta you just have to use what you got, even if it's like your iPhone. Sometimes I just feel like I just should use that because I
Yeah.
can't it's so hard to do this, or like ask a friend to help me. I think that's key too. um
Yes. That's really great advice. And I think that's
yeah,
something people should remember too, especially if
reach out.
the technology thing, if it is not your bag, but you're trying the best that you can, start with what you have. I
Yes.
mean, iPhones are incredible devices now, and you can
Yeah.
get some, you can generate some great things. But the point about reaching out and asking questions is, I think ordinarily I just would feel too, I don't know, ego or whatever to like,
Yeah, right. Like I could do it myself. I don't want to bother
like
anybody, or
do it.
yeah,
Kinda.
yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
people want to help you, especially people who are really well versed in technology.
Yeah.
they're always eager to, share their knowledge and expertise of these things. So, don't let those minor things hang you up so bad that it,
No, yeah, exactly.
creating. Yeah.
Or you're like, I'm trying to learn guitar. Lorraine, what's this chord? Shoot me
Yeah.
a text. Or like, how do you do this? Reach
Oh.
out.
Have you tried teaching online at all?
Yeah, I do a couple Zoom things for private. I have only just like a handful, which is fine for now. But my, I used to have a lot more students, and so, it is what it is. I don't like it so much. I mean, I don't think any of us do, because we have to learn how to. I was listening to you and Veronica May, and I think she likes it, right? So that
Yeah.
was an interesting point of view. But we can't do things in real time. Like I'd like to that, real time and that connection, and accompanying or singing, or the interplay of like maybe scatting together, like, that's gone. It's really hard. I mean, we have to adapt, and we have to figure out ways to make it, I guess, the next, the closest thing to to having that real time interaction. I don't know. It's tough.
It
How
is.
about you? Are you?
I've done pretty well with it. I mean, I definitely agree that you lose some aspects of it, um, but then you gain other things from it. The latency issue is definitely, uh, I think it's so problematic that it is something that the market will absolutely demand a solution for. And I'm
Mhm.
seeing more and more evidence of that all the time. In fact, on Thursday, I'm going to have my good friend Eden Castile on the show. I'm going to be interviewing her. She is from the East Coast, a wonderful vocal coach out there. She's a jazz pianist and singer. And she has been doing all of this experimentation with some other musicians on the East Coast using these low latency platforms like SoundJack and
Oh,
Shazam. I don't know if you've heard of these or not, but
no, I'll have to tune in. Yeah.
yeah, when you get, in your separate locations, and the interfaces are fairly simple. It's just a matter of kind of getting things like you need to go direct, you need to plug in direct to your router so that you're getting a stronger signal. And then
Right.
there's other adjustments. You have to really get tuned in. So you've got to be working with somebody who wants to pull this together. So for instance, I wouldn't recommend doing it with a kid, that
Right.
just
Right.
wants to have their lesson.
Right. Right.
So I think there's interesting things on the horizon that look promising, but
Yeah. It's all it's well, another thing too, I think, as far as like having to teach differently,
Mhm.
it's you said like look at the good parts. I think it's I'm actually demanding more from my students. Like it's like I can't hold their hand as much, so they have to like, like, well, you're gonna have to play piano. You're gonna have to. I mean, there's the iReal, like certain devices that you can use, but yeah, they have to like basically, it's like be a little bit more self-disciplined. So that part's cool, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely do. I know, trying to do like vocal warm-ups, and even I
Yeah.
do it call and response style.
Yep.
And it's just depending upon the skill level of the singer. Even doing just 5 note scale call and response can be really tough. So you do have that advantage of uh, kind of really training some ears a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, we will definitely see what happens. But what do you have coming up that I could direct everybody towards to check you out? Or where would you like people to go to hear your music and see what you're doing?
Oh, I'm horrible with like my website. I think I like started working on it, and I kind of gave up. And I think the best way is just to stay in touch via Facebook or Instagram. It's sometimes I'll get like take a break, like a long break from Facebook, and then I'll be back on. I think that's healthy because like being caught up in, the threads, and it gets, there's like studies that it does cause depression, right? So I have to like, a little bit at a time. But yeah, I think as far as what's going on musically, like I'll post a video or something, but I think with this next tune, I'll promote it via Facebook and Instagram. I think that's the best possible way,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you done any live streaming yet, or do you plan to?
No, I no, but I mean, it seems like it could be like a really cool thing. Yeah. Really cool.
Maybe. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I so appreciate you coming on and talking with me tonight, taking the time. It's good to see your face. I haven't seen your face in a long time.
I know.
Together, but I'm glad to see that you're doing so well. I'm excited to listen to the album that you told us about to begin with, and I'll make sure that I will make sure that I link everybody up to that so that they can check it out. And I'll keep in touch with you, see what you're up to, see how things are going, and I'll absolutely wishing you the very best and look
Yes.
forward to seeing you in person again.
Yeah. I
And
know.
thank you to everybody who watched tonight. Like I said, on Thursday, come back and join us. I'll have my friend Eden Castile here. She is doing some really, really amazing things with with these technology platforms. So I think singers and musicians out there, that would be the night to, watch and see what she has to say about that. She's doing teachers too. She's doing some really, really cool, innovative things in her vocal studio as well. So
Cool.
lots of fun stuff to learn, but I guess we'll say goodnight.
Oh, thank you so much for putting this on. What a great thing. Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me to, and I'm honored. Thank you.
Aw, it's a pleasure to see you.
You too.
All right. Well, you take care, and good night to
Okay.
everybody else. We'll see you
Good
soon.
night.